Welcome to her Wind Down. Today we have a guest with us. She's a childhood friend of mine, and she identifies with the Lgbtq community. She's going to be giving us a synapse of her life as a lesbian. So please welcome Kendra.
Thank you.
What's your wind down? Tell me. What's your wind down? What's your wind down? Tell me. What's your wind down? Show me, tell me, what's your story? I wanna hear it. What's your opinion? Like it, love it. Hashtag it, love it. Hashtag or post it. Retweet or repost it. She's my sister, she's my friend. We stay rolling till the end. We stay vibing no matter what we're riding. We can laugh, be shy or cry. Let's find answers, not that's why. We stay vibing no matter what. We're smiling. I got this, you got this, we got this, we good. I got this, you got this, we got this, we good.
Welcome to her Wind Down. Today we have a guest with us. She's a childhood friend of mine, and she identifies with the LGBTQ community. She's going to be giving us a synapse of her life as a lesbian. So please welcome Kendra.
Thank you.
So thank you for being with us today, Kendra. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you just give us a little synapse into your story. Synapse into your story. Okay, so when did you know that you were attracted to girls?
I probably have to say like about the age of 8 or 9. I had a crush on my 3rd grade teacher. But when I was 8 or 9, I had a first experience with my friend from down the street. She was like my best friend. We kind of grew up together. So I think that was like my first time.
So what did you guys do?
So we had a garage that my dad was rebuilding with brick, and so we were playing like school or some school bus or something like that. My brother was a school bus driver. He was kind of in the front on a set of bricks, and then me and her were in the back on the school bus. And I don't know if she like sat on my lap or something like that, and we were kind of like humping and kissing. And my brother turned around and looked, so he saw everything.
Did he run in and tell?
No. He told me after. He said, I saw what you did. I was like, don't tell.
And then you felt like from that experience, it just went, like, did you think, well, if I experienced this at a young age with a girl, maybe I could experience this with a boy?
No, I think I ain't gonna say from there, because that's just my earliest memory of experience, but I had a crush on my 3rd grade teacher. I mean, I don't know what age that is. What age is that? Like
7. No, 8 or 9.
Okay, so about the same. So about that same time. So I guess that's when I kind of like maybe started having those feelings. But I seen boys; they were around, but just never paid attention to them.
Okay. Did you ever question your sexuality growing up?
Oh yeah, the whole time. I know I didn't want to tell my parents. I mean, I kind of knew, but I didn't want to tell my parents, until I was old enough to be able to be on my own in case they decided they wanted to put me out or something.
But what made you feel like I cannot tell them?
Oh, because my parents are Christian, and I know how they feel about it. I've heard of comments over the years.
Yeah. So you're like, no.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to stay in the closet.
Yeah. And then once you finally did tell them.
How did that go? That was so I was my mom's best friend. So I used to hang out with my mom all the time. We used to do everything together. And then obviously when you get a girlfriend, you're hanging out with your girlfriend more, spending time with them. So my mom kind of was like a little leery, she was a little jealous, like, you always with such and such, I don't ever get to see you and stuff. I was like, well, I'm just with my friend. So I was spending the night, and I'm like 19, 19, 20, spend the night at a girl's house saying it's my friend. And I was always gone. And one day I came home just to change clothes, really. And I walked in the house and my brother was in the bathroom and I was ironing my clothes. And my mom said, she asked my brother first, she said, Kenya, do you think Kendra's gay? And my brother was like, hell yeah. And then she asked me, she said, Kendra, are you gay? And I said, yeah, Mom, I'm gay. And I just continued to iron my stuff. And she sat on the bed and she started talking to me, started crying and saying, well, you know, we didn't teach you this and this is not what we want for you. She's like, I'm gonna call your dad. So she called my dad up at the same time because my dad lives in Texas. So she called my dad up and she knew I'm kind of like scared of my dad because I respect him so much. So she called him up on the phone and she gave me the phone. I'm still ironing and I'm trying to hold the phone and my dad is telling me, well, Kendra, you know, we didn't teach you this. This is not what you should be doing. And I think when you came out to California, you started, you know, exploring all this stuff, but you need to leave it alone. And he started crying and stuff. And I was like, oh, man.
Were you crying?
No, I wasn't crying. I was ironing my clothes. I was trying to get out of there. It was a heated situation.
But like, was it, yeah. I'm almost done. Right. But was it one of those situations to where your heart beating fast? Like, oh my gosh, like, how are they going to take it? Are they going to try to disown me?
Yes.
Or they, like,
yes,
what?
I was ready for that at that moment. You know, I was actually going to pack some clothes.
But you was more relieved that you had got it out.
That I had got it out to them both at the same time. So that was good. That was good. But then my mom, being the jealous person that she is, after I finished with my clothes, she was like, I'm going to drive you over to that girl's house and you got to tell her you can't see her no more. So she really did. She really did. She drove me over to her house, but I thought my mom was going to be big bad, want to come in with me, but she stayed in the car. Yeah. She sat in the car. She sat in the car and she said, you go up there, you tell her you can't see her, you can't talk to her no more. This is not what you're going to be doing if you're going to live in my house. So then I went upstairs and I talked to the girl. I was like, you know, I just came out to my mom and stuff, so I'm probably not going to have a place to live, you know, if we're going to continue seeing each other. She was like, oh, you can move in with me. So
well,
you know,
different.
Yeah, that went totally different.
Wow.
So, I mean, when I came back downstairs, when we didn't really say, I don't remember the ride home. I just remember I grabbed some clothes when I went back home, and I didn't see my mom in them for like 2 weeks. And my mom couldn't take it no more, so she finally said, you my daughter, always gonna be my daughter, I'm always gonna love you. And she let it go. Wow. She was interested in meeting this young lady.
Yeah.
So.
Did you cry when she did that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What about your dad?
He still hasn't fully accepted it to this day. You know, the last time I heard him cry was in 2016. He came out here for my graduation, and you know, he doesn't like talk to me all the time about it, but little moments he'll take time and he'll, you know, say a little something like, Kendra, you know, I'm praying for you that you know, you get over this, you know, get your soul, get your life right and all that stuff like that. So he doesn't do it all the time, which I appreciate. But when he came for my graduation, you know, he just grabbed me and he just started crying right in the lobby of the hotel. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you know, my job as a father is to make sure you go to heaven with me when I go, you know. And I was like, okay, Dad, you know. I just listen to him. I don't say anything. I don't even try to fight a battle or anything like that. Yeah, I keep it respectful. Yeah. But I think it hurts me more to keep it in versus, you know.
So have you became expressive to him, like just in his disposition on how he's handling it, how it bothers you?
No, I think quiet is kept. You know, we have a 5-minute conversation every week. You know, we talk on the phone every week and it's about how's work, how's your car, how's your house, that kind of conversation, and that's it.
Do you feel like you want to talk to him about it?
I do. It's like, I saw a movie, I can't think of the name of it right now, but I saw a movie and the boy in that movie, it was about him being gay. Oh, yeah. And his father, the conversation that he had with his dad at the end about the car dealership, he said, I can't do this no more. You know, these small little conversations, he said that you're either gonna be in my life fully or you're gonna just be out of it, you know? So I think I wanna kind of come to that point because I think my father is missing out on a lot on my life. You know, if God forbid something were to happen to me, who do you contact about anything about me? Yeah. Who do you contact? You don't even know, you know, my partner or nothing. Yeah. You know, so those are the type of things that I worry about. Yeah. You know.
But just to add on, like, I'm not trying to defend him in no way, but it's like one of those things as Christians, it's like embedded in you, your belief on, well, this is wrong, this is abomination, you're gonna go to hell. But then they miss out on other scriptures like liars gonna have their place in the lake of fire too. It said a drunkard, an adulterer, all this other stuff. But they just hone in on gay and lesbian or homosexuality instead of just saying, well, what about showing them the love of God? What about still being there and showing them through the way you treat them and the way you live your life on, you know, them making certain changes in their life. And most people just get so stuck on certain scriptures that they just miss out on everything. And then as Christians and believing, and you just like, okay, God, well, I don't accept it. Okay, well, I don't believe that this is how you wanted to go. So I'm just gonna block myself from having a type of relationship with this person. But yet people have a relationship with people that they know blatantly that cheated on their spouse, you know, or lied on their taxes year after year. And it's like, hold on though, wait a minute, you know. So, but it's one of those things to where I don't know if he is trying,
I just
or
feel
it's
like
just
I'm
hard
working,
because from childhood.
I just feel like I'm working double and triple to try to make him proud of me. When he should already be proud of me of any accomplishment that I have. But I feel like I got to do double, triple, you know, so he doesn't see that one little thing.
Do you feel that you need to like literally go maybe visit your dad and say, have that conversation and just really just say, Dad, you know what, this is a conversation that we need to have so that he knows exactly how you feel. So no matter what, he knows, and you guys have that honest dialogue in regards to where you're coming from, because I know that he loves you. I mean, he's your father, and like regardless of if he doesn't agree with your lifestyle, he still probably wants to know those things and tell him like that really is something that bothers me, because you don't want him, you know, God forbid if something happened and he's at the funeral just like, oh my God, I wish I would have. You want to make sure that you take care of everything now. Do you think that if you went to him, he would be open to listening to you?
No, I did that. So I got married when I was like 30. And out of respect for my wife, I went to tell him that I had gotten married. And when I told him, I said, you know, Dad, I came here to tell you, you know, I got married, you know, I had a wife and stuff. He was like, well, you know, you and your wife not welcome here. He straight up told me.
Wow.
But he said it's no different than my other brother who wasn't married to his girlfriend. They were having kids together, but they weren't married. And he said they're not welcome here either.
Okay, wait.
So,
So is welcome there to spend a night?
Spend the night, yes.
Okay, but y'all could come over for dinner.
I didn't even ask that part. He had already.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I didn't even let it go that far.
That's what you need. You got a lot of unanswered questions. You be like, look, so am I
Yeah.
welcome for dinner?
Right.
So you love me or you don't?
right.
But you know, I think it's so ingrained in him though. I think the stigma, if he's in the church, you know, that stigma that
Right.
it's a sin that you can see. And it's like, you know, if everybody walked around with their sin on their forehead, would he treat them all the way he treats you? You know what I mean?
Right.
He works with prisoners. I mean, every day, day in, day out. He teaches Bible study to the inmates.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Okay, so you grew up as a Christian yourself, right?
I did.
So even with the views and the stance your father took, I know it had to have some type of effect on your Christianity walk. So what is your relationship like with God now?
What is it like now? I have a strong relationship with God, but not so much with the church.
Okay.
You know, I haven't been to church in probably like 4 years, and that's actually the topic of me and my dad's conversation lately. You know, Kendra, you need to find you a church to go to. I was like, yeah, okay. You know, I don't even, you know, like I said, I don't indulge. I just say, okay.
So you
know.
feel you wouldn't be accepted at a church if you was to attend? Is that why you wouldn't?
That's one of the reasons, but I've been kind of like, you know, just on a journey, spiritual journey of learning different things and stuff, just about my heritage, my African ancestry and stuff like that. So I've been on a different journey than Christianity.
Okay, question.
So, yes, question.
Okay, so do you think you decided to take that journey just because?
No.
Yes.
I can already tell where
right.
you're going.
Yeah,
No,
right.
no.
Do you think
Hey,
you took
if that
that
was the
journey?
case, then it
Because
would've been a
look,
long
you
time
never.
ago.
But this is the thing. You never did it before, right? You never thought about, okay, I need to trace back my roots and see where I come from and see what type of rituals they did and what was that whole thing. You never did it before.
But that's all a part of us getting older, is that we gain more experience and learn new things.
Okay, so what have your experience been like in the church? To whereas you feel like I still have a relationship with God, but I don't want to have anything to do with the church. So what did the church do to make you want to turn your back on the church?
The church didn't do anything. I mean, I attended a big mega church, so I could just kind of like fit in the crowd, you know. So that didn't play a part so much. You know, I think it's just, like I said, it's just not, you know, learning things, knowledge and finding out how this and that happened, how this came about and stuff like that. And I was like, okay,
So is your beliefs in the Bible?
gone.
What is your belief in?
It's like I said, it's spiritual. I believe there's a higher power. I believe, there's a God. It's got to be somebody bigger than us.
Right.
But with everything that you learned growing up, and you had a relationship with God, and I think we all can agree that, especially if all of our parents were Christian, that's how we were raised. But at a point, you had to have your own relationship with God. So obviously there were things that were happening in your life that you knew that was God, that lined up with the Bible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
how is it that now you can totally dismiss it and say, okay, I'm going on this new journey, when you've experienced that, like you've had that experience with God and you know that, and then you say, hey, you know what, not anymore?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with it's just religion, basically. Whether it was Buddha, whether it's Jesus, there's a God, because isn't God the Father of Jesus, right? So, I mean, I know that we're taught that they're all one, but isn't that the
Yes.
Okay, so no matter which way that I get there, I still know there's a God, basically, on my journey.
Well, I just want to add, we go to Antioch, Long Beach with Pastor Wayne Chaney. What I'm noticing lately is that we have a lot of the LGBTQ community that's starting to come in. And I know that just like any other sin, Jesus don't accept it, but it's just one of those things that people are just, okay, this is how that person is, okay, we're going to pray, or whatever the case may be. But there is no hang-ups to where somebody is feeling uncomfortable or feeling not accepted or feeling like somebody is staring at them. So I do welcome you to come to Antioch and bring your girlfriend and just hear the word, because he still preaches the word. And the word is God, and God is the word. And if you believed it before and you've seen how it worked in your life, I just believe that it's still there. It hasn't went anywhere.
And you can come as you are, because I know we had a conversation.
Matching shirts,
Yeah.
matching socks. Oh, y'all need to show people there's that shit going on.
No.
Fly over here, okay?
Kendra,
Hold that foot up, so we can
She okay,
she matched.
Kendra, you mentioned earlier to us before, while we're getting ready, how
Getting a little parched.
okay.
Her wind down glass.
You mentioned how when you used to go to church, how you felt that you had to actually dress a little bit more feminine so people wouldn't point you out. Would you feel comfortable? How do you feel about going to church today?
Like I'm dressed?
Yeah.
I feel like I would get the looks, the stares. Is that a guy? Is that a girl? I feel like people
First of
still
all, you're
gonna
very
look.
beautiful.
I know,
And you
but
look like
I
a girl.
still get it. Believe it or not, I still get it.
Yeah.
I still get it.
But even if you still get it,
Well, you're a sharp lesbian. Yes, you are.
Fly, right?
Your edges are all pulled back straight.
You can teach
Your
Terry something.
matches. Your teeth are pretty.
Yeah, I've heard I'm too pretty to be gay.
Really?
Yes, I've heard that.
Wow.
I've heard that.
You
before.
good.
That's some of the comments.
You have to visit though, and you need to visit just as you are. You need to
Yes.
come just as you are.
You can sit with us.
Seriously. Yeah, for real.
that's what I was gonna say. I remember when my mom passed away, and I was kind of cool on God. I was like, how could you take my mother? It didn't make sense to me. And I literally, Terry would get up and go to church, and she'd be like, I'm going to church. I'd be like, bye, see you later. I don't want nothing to do with God. I don't understand how this God that's so great could take a woman from my life that I still needed. And so I felt like I was still running from God. And I remember going to Antioch, and it was like, I was still, I still had my little stigma. Chris invited me, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And I went on some petty stuff, cause I heard he had a girlfriend. And, who is she? Let me go and see. But I remember I started going, the message, it spoke to me. So I came the next Sunday. And then I came the next Sunday. And I was like, okay, I like this preaching. It's actually, it's good. It's beneficial. It's helping me. And then I remember that it wasn't like it was somebody saying something to me or me reading it in the Bible where I just wanted to turn my life around. And it wasn't like I was living like a ratchet life where I was, all out there or anything. But I remember the guitar player playing a string on the instrument, and it was like something inside of me just broke. Wow. And I think even with your walk and everything, nobody knows how it's going to look. Nobody knows, what your journey is, but you and God. And so even if you do get the stares, who cares? And you got to know more that your walk with God is more important than those stares, than that feeling of uncomfortableness, because people living ratchet, horrible lives walk right into that same church, and they don't get the stares because they're not dressed like you're dressed. But God will still speak to you, So I think you should give it a shot again.
So what's the difference in going to church and also having it inside your temple, inside of yourself?
Because the Bible says, forsake not the time of fellowshipping with other believers. So you basically want to make sure that you gird it up, and it's almost like that daily bread. You're getting it every day, to whereas when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling like, okay, what about this, that, and other, that you're surrounding yourself with like mind. What is it? How do you say? Like-minded individual. Yeah, like y'all have the same thing, or you could always go to somebody and be like, okay, they have the same beliefs of this, that, and the other. And no matter what, Angie stopped eating meat. I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to not hang out with her because we don't agree with certain things. You understand what I'm saying? So it begins to be one.
Still eat meat. I still love you.
Exactly. So it's one of those things to where we might not agree on everything, but it doesn't mean that we can't still follow Jesus and iron sharpening iron and keeping each other on point with certain things, instead of me feeling like, oh, okay, well, they believe this way, so I need to isolate myself. I don't need to be around them, because everybody you hang out with is not going to believe everything that you
can't please everybody,
right? And you can't. So it's one of those things to where it's, why be by yourself or sit and just have all these unanswered questions when no matter what, Kendra, I feel like you love Jesus and you know God, and you need to be around other believers as well as sharpening yourself, at the same time. So they go hand in hand.
So you gonna come hang with us?
Yeah.
I can make one date.
Okay. So have you ever had a boyfriend?
I have. My last boyfriend probably was 10th grade. It's about the 10th grade. Yeah.
What happened? It didn't work out? You left a bad taste to your mouth?
No pun intended. I think I was dating to date. I guess I didn't want people to speculate or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know me from high school.
I know.
I always had the tomboy look, but my hair was always pressed and girly looking, like Aaliyah type of look. But so I did the dating thing in the 10th grade. I dated this guy. So we got to the whole touchy-feely thing, and I was like, this ain't me. This ain't me. This don't feel right.
Kendra. So even though you had your first experience with a girl at a young age, you just knew for sure that you was gay.
I knew for sure, yes.
So then dating a guy, it was just more so to save face, so
put
everybody
put on for my family.
Counterparts. Yeah, everybody knew. Wow.
Yeah. And then plus the girls on the basketball team were asking me, was I T?
What's that?
What is that?
I didn't know what it was either. Because like I said, I wanted to wait till after high school, even though I kind of knew. I wanted to wait till I was in the clear when it came to my parents and stuff like that. So I kind of avoided all interaction with people that I thought was gay or knew they was gay. I tried to still keep my little girly little facade and all that.
You said you came out when you were 8 or 9.
Yeah. 19, 20 I came out.
But right now, do you think it should have changed? It's 2019 and people are still in the mindset of like, you can't be gay. You can't. It has to be a man. It has to be a woman. And so how do you feel about that?
I think it's a struggle, just like how black people had to struggle. The gay people still obviously have to struggle too to get our rights and people to see us as equal.
See, now I'm going to come in as being biased, I guess, because when I see that and I see and then you being black too, so now you black and gay, so you got this negative, and you're a woman.
That's 3.
Right. Are you left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Oh, Lord. All 4, yeah. So it's one of those things though, but when I see that gay, lesbian, transgender, all the LGBTQ community, when they try to identify with the Black experience on, you know, I really do have a problem with that. And I know we sat on the phone and we had our discussion about it, but that's one of those things to where it's like, I've never seen gay slaves. You know, like, and I know they exist, but I never seen just people come in and say, "Oh, we got all these gay slaves, and we're going to beat y'all, and we're going to do all this to you."
Right.
It's like, and it's something that is totally different. I understand that there's, you know, a lot of similarities as far as discrimination, or, you know, the fight to be humanized, to treat them like they're human beings, but to go far back to a Black experience, to experience homosexuality and their stance, it is totally different.
But in regards to how, Terry, you feel, I can understand how they feel as far as, especially in America, when you come here, like in the 60s, there were transgender, you know, and gay people fighting for rights, for civil rights. So in that aspect of being discriminated, I can see and I can understand how they feel on that aspect. But I just think that in America, it's really hard. Like, it's a big epidemic of especially trans women, Black trans women, actually being killed because of how they live their lives and everything. So you go outside and you don't know what's gonna happen to you, and you're thinking like, well, I can get stopped by the police, and because I'm Black, something can happen like that, in those similarities. But I just think that having an open dialogue and understanding, some people think, you have to be exactly how I am. And even if you disagree with it, I'm not going to sit here and treat you any different from it, because that's how people treat Black people. Like now, across the board, everybody, you know, Latinos are getting treated how Black people get treated. During 9/11, Middle Eastern get treated how Black people have getting treated. So we understand, I don't want to treat you like that just because of how you look or something like that. It is really about the character of the person when you're interacting in regular life.
So I guess it goes back to like little baby steps that people can start taking. You know, if we start comparing it to the experiences in the 60s or in the 30s or 40s, or, you know, going back to whatever year that it was heavy. Now they'll say, you know, how white people will say, well, I have a Black friend now. So it was one of those things to whereas you feared the unknown. You didn't know Black people, so you feared it, and then you just start killing and doing this, that, and the other. So it goes back to where it's a fear of the unknown. You don't know. And so now there's an issue against, you know, transgenders or gay or lesbians. So maybe everybody should go get a transgender friend or a gay friend.
But honestly, in our everyday lives, where do you go somewhere where it's people who are just like you, minus church, who people say, okay, we're just God people, we're doing everything we want to do, we look alike, we go to a predominantly African American church. When I'm working, I work in entertainment, I come across everybody. Right. And if I took the stance of treating someone to, oh my gosh, that would be so just off-putting. I have a lot of people who I know who are, you know, gay, lesbian, whatever, and they know that I'm Christian, and sometimes it puts them off, and they get to know me and they're like, oh, okay, because I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit here and bash you because of your lifestyle. Right. Like, they could bash me if they knew, what if I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing? But I'm just saying, I'm not gonna sit here and just around that. It's like when you approach anybody, approach them with love. And so for me, you know, family members, friends, you all, you know, somebody has to know somebody. Like, you may not always have a Black friend, but you know somebody. It's people at the church.
Right.
Maybe I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, wherever you go, that's exactly where it's going to be. Everywhere. So how do you interact and continue a dialogue, a healthy dialogue, and not just pounce on someone and make them feel like I want to commit suicide, or I don't feel like I belong because of my sexual preference?
That's where it all goes back to the Bible, where God says to love one another and to treat each other like yourself. You treat others how you want to be treated, no matter what their disposition is, no matter what their sexuality, their, you know, because a lot of times you don't know people sin. Right. And just because you can see someone sin doesn't mean you treat them accordingly. Right. You know, if we love everyone, because God called us to, how could you turn your back on anybody?
Yeah. Well, that's what I say about my mom. I mean, even though she was a Christian, she has unconditional love. Right. You know, because that 2 weeks obviously killed her of not talking to me. And she loves me more than she would say she would love, you know, the church or God. I mean, I don't say God, but more than her religion. She loved me more.
Okay, wait.
So that's true unconditional love. Other people, like I consider my dad, would have conditional love. So if you're not this way, then I'll love you fully. But as long as you're that way, I don't love you.
Wait,
Maybe
but,
that's
wait, hold
something
on. I could say I love you unconditionally, whatever stance you end up choosing. Period. I feel like your mom did that too, but it's not that she chose you and your choices or your lifestyle against her beliefs. You can still say, I have these beliefs. I still have my beliefs, but I don't feel like God is saying, no, you don't love her, you don't like her, you don't be like, I don't think God is saying that. So I don't think it was one of those things to where she's saying, well, I'm going to choose your lifestyle over God. I just think it was,
I don't think that either.
saying over religion
Just
or her
accepting.
belief.
She was
Yeah,
just
she was
being
just,
more
yeah,
accepting,
and
yeah.
she was just saying, no, I'm going to still show you that unconditional love.
So what's keeping my father from being accepting?
Everybody's not the same.
Reading the Bible
It's-
too hard?
No. Sometimes a lot of people skip over the part where we're supposed to love, and they get to the point where they want to judge.
Or the agape
But-
love. He's stuck in there, probably the brotherly love, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you made a mistake, brother. So I'll see you later." You know, some people not at that level yet. You know, or that understanding, and it probably hit parents even harder when it's their own. Because I start seeing how parents can have a gay child, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But if it's a friend, they could say, you know what? No, you pray for them, you be there for them, you love them. But when it's their own, it's like it's like
The first thing they
my
say,
child,
what did
not my
I
baby.
do? I
Yeah.
messed up. Like,
Yeah.
how
And
did
it's
I
like
make this
It's
happen?
taught.
Right.
I was watching a show, it's a new show on OWN. It's called Conversations with, it's a show, on OWN with Black women who have conversations on different topics. And one of them was love, and also about how the Black community doesn't understand gay, lesbian, transsexual, anything. And one of the actors from Pose, who's a transsexual woman, came on, and her mom was there. And her mom basically said, I'm Christian, these are my beliefs, and this is how I was raised. So she basically told him, when he came out to her, you need to go kill yourself. And I need to go do it too, because she didn't understand anything about it. She just thought, we're going to hell. And it took her time, and she said it's just the education about things of what we needed to do. And now they actually have a great relationship. But I think when you don't have that dialogue and you don't understand, you're just like, oh my God. Like a lot of people, they have, their families disown them, which is very, very, very sad that your family just in 1 second of that and says, okay, I don't want to have anything to do with you, and just cut you off. And so I just think it's a open dialogue that people need to understand and have compassion.
Yeah, I think it's honesty. Like you said, I should probably go to my dad and have that, honest conversation. But I'm the one that's kind of like respecting him and not saying anything. But who's to say that he doesn't want me to come to him and have that conversation and get it over with?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, but I figure I already
sometimes-
told you that part.
Or sometimes your expectations of who he is and who he should be, and the man of God that he's saying that he is so high that you're giving him so much credit.
Yes, I do put him on a high pedestal.
Yes, instead of just looking at him and say, hey, he's human. He's not seeing this the way that he's obviously supposed to be seeing this. And let me just go to him. Let me play the bigger person. And sometimes you're like, I didn't play the bigger person. This stuff hurt. Like, I don't feel like doing this no more. And but it's probably just what's needed. Especially if you need even enclosure in that, to saying, no matter what, you grown. And if it's hurting you like that, you got to say, you know what, I'm going to close this door. If God wants this door to be opened again, he's going to do it. But right now, I can no longer let this control my life or take that type of power from me to where I need to talk to him for this, or I need him to be here for this, or he needs to call me about this, or whatever the case may be. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, how Christians or believers have this thing when we say, not all, but when we say a homosexual person coming to church. What does homosexuals, gays, lesbian, transgender, what do they feel? Like, so what do you feel, when somebody tell you, oh yeah, I'm a Christian? Do you have a disposition to say, oh, I already know what you believe, you probably already don't like me, or you already feel this way about me? You don't feel that way?
No, I don't usually
You're a
feel that way.
storyteller.
I mean, I feel like they already have maybe prejudged me, right off the bat. But you know, I feel like once they get to know me as a person, they usually, I mean, this has been my experience, that they usually forget that I was even gay, because they end up, you know, instead of looking on the outward, they look on the heart, you know, and they see me as a person, and, oh, Kendra, you're funny, and, you know, we have a good time.
You're not
with
funny,
you.
though.
You pay me for my jokes. I've been making y'all laugh all this whole time.
But I just feel like it's one of those twofold things, so whereas everybody have their preconceived notions on how a person is because of the stance that they're taking, instead of just looking at that person like a book that you're just trying to get to know. Like, oh, you're a new book. Let me see what you're reading. You know what you're about. You know. But then I meet you and be like, I done already gave you a title. I feel like I done already went through chapters 1 through 13 and haven't even cracked the book open yet. I feel like that is like the hugest thing that people do and mess up with, like, even having relationships. But you being gay, what are some of the struggles that you feel like you have or you've had with just certain encounters that you have, like if you were going out, if you were to go to church, with certain parties that you'll go to, or in whatever, any experience that you had that you felt like it shouldn't have went down like that?
Like I said earlier, a big thing is, you know, guys, you know, will see me and my girlfriend together, and, you know, they want to obviously holler at my girlfriend or whatever. And I think, so the biggest problem has been from men, you know, say African-American men.
Really?
But yeah, that's, you know, disrespecting me to try to talk to my girlfriend.
I think black men are just disrespectful in general sometimes.
But how do you
My husband
handle?
older, and they'll still be like, well, hello, I know this older man is not with this young chick. I'll be like,
the man, it's
Yeah.
just not you, because they do that anyway.
It's
So,
the man,
but
yeah.
how do you handle it?
My girl, any girl I've ever been with, they handle
They
it pretty much.
make
yeah,
sure
they
they-
kinda,
yeah. Be
let them
respectful.
down. Be respectful.
Right.
Be nice about it. You know.
I was watching this stand up, and she said,
Yes,
you see
yes.
it?
This is just a role. This is just a role I play. These just clothes. These clothes.
She said,
I don't fight. I can't fight. Yeah, I
Am
can't
I
fight.
supposed to fight for her too?
Yes, I saw that too. Yes, and that's just how I
you
feel.
feel that way?
Yeah, I get behind her like, can you tell him? Can you tell him leave us alone?
What is happening right now?
Yeah, go talk to him. Go talk to him.
Yeah. Well, I have another question. A lot of times there's a big debate in regards to if someone was born gay or did they become gay. What is your take on that? And when did you know that, like, this is who you are? Like, do you believe that God made you that way and created you to be gay?
I just recently read a study, like about 2 weeks ago, that there's no such thing as a gay gene. I didn't say I ever believed in that or anything like that, but they said that there's no such thing as a gay gene. You're not born gay. They said it could be caused from environmental factors. You know, you're around gay people. I grew up in Louisiana. I didn't have no gay people around me. There was no gay people around me. So to have this at 8 or 9, where did it come from? And I know Christians believe that it's a homosexual spirit, that it's a, what's the other one that I had said?
That if someone was like molested or
Oh,
something
like
like
molested,
that,
yes.
had a sexual,
Like
somebody
molested or
molested
something
you
like
or
that, yes.
something.
You end up, you end up gay.
But do you
But
think,
that's not my experience, you know. My experience, like I said,
how do you
8 or
know
9.
it wasn't a spirit? You didn't see it. He just crept up on you. And
But
said,
I wasn't around. I wasn't around it unless it came from my parents.
But like, no,
Maybe
no,
they
no.
had
Like at 8 or 9, do you feel like if you would have expressed that to someone, like what your curiosity was, and like that, oh, I did this, or I shared this, you know, because I think a lot of times kids don't communicate with their parents, and a lot of parents don't communicate with their kids. So a lot of things that are plaguing kids, or kids that they're struggling with something, nobody was there to correct it, or not necessarily say correct it, but there was no open dialogue about your sexuality at 8 or 9.
Or were
So,
you, yeah.
But
I
how
think-
do
I
you
see
have that conversation?
Like, how were
Because
you able
if
to
you
talk to your parents about
exactly.
it?
Because a lot of times parents don't talk to their kids
About
And
sex,
like,
period.
yeah, about sex, period. Everything is like kind of taboo until what you get to 5th grade, and they're showing you this baby come out of this hairy vagina and shocks your soul. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I didn't
seriously.
see that in the 5th grade, maybe
Yeah,
10th.
I did. I saw that in 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
But
they're still showing it in 5th grade.
yes,
That
it's
is crazy.
crazy, and that's like a, you know, it's a lot of parents put it off on the school systems and somebody else to teach them. A lot of times, if parents did have that dialogue with kids, I think some things would have been thwarted, like where if you were able to talk to your mom or you were able to talk to your dad and, his stance, if he would have explained his stance at 8 or 9. You get what I'm saying?
Or not even just explaining.
So
Because
you think he would have taught me? You think
Yeah.
he could have probably talked me out of
Not
it?
necessarily talked you out of it, but to the extent of if he so strongly believes in his beliefs and he's so, he's standing on this is, what I believe, this is what the Word of God says, why not explain that to a child? You know what I mean? Because God says that we're to have childlike faith, which means that children can comprehend and understand a lot more than we give them credit for.
And teach them when they're young.
And teach them while they're young, so when they're older, they won't depart from me. So if the dialogue was had, I think, I'm not saying it would have changed you or anything, but I think it would have opened you up for more of God as opposed to, like, I guess, I don't know, what am I trying to say? I think if people dialogued with their kids, they had a conversation, an open conversation, not to condemn your child or, you know what I mean? But just
Let her be open.
You just felt like
with
it
herself.
could have had a different
it could have had a
dynamic.
different dynamic.
Yes.
And I think as opposed to you saying, okay, well, at 8 or 9, I knew my 3rd grade teacher, I had a crush on her. Would you?
She was like, confirmation.
Well, no, like, you know what I mean? No,
But
seriously.
she was
But
already
you could've.
scared. Like
But
she
I
said,
think
I was
that's what
scared
I'm
I
to
know I
talk
probably
to
would
my
have contemplated
dad.
suicide if I would have talked to my dad and he would have said, this is my
Right.
stance, this is what it is, and you
Exactly.
don't do this, you don't do that.
No, and
Then I'm going to be more afraid
But then
to
what
be
if you would have
myself
told your
and be
mom?
like,
You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
God gave you both parents.
Yeah.
And you had a relationship with both parents, so you never know how it could go, but I'm just saying, just in terms of people in this day and age in 2019, talk to your kids.
talk to your kids.
Right.
I also don't
Because-
see it elsewhere.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
see it. They're going to be exposed to it at some point. Why not share that with your
And,
with your children?
let them talk too. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that I have a greater purpose in being who I am, or even teaching other people to have love for someone they probably would have never had love for.
Do you feel like it's a learned behavior, even though you say, okay, nobody around you was gay, or you didn't have that experience, or to the point where you felt like a spirit could have jumped off on you, or but do you feel like, I feel like it's like a learned behavior. Like I feel like if how you have the predominantly most African American homes are single parent homes, so then you have the son that's born to a mother, and all of his experiences are from his mother, so he relates more with his mother, so he has a lot of feminine characteristics and all of these things because the only image that he has to look at is a woman.
I believe that could be some people's case.
Yeah.
I think I was telling Angela in our pre-interview that I have a little cousin, and well, he's older now, but when he was younger, I saw it in him, like just his mannerism, his behavior, and he grew up to actually be gay, and he's like his mom's best friend, but I don't know if that attributed to it that, that's her youngest son and she wanted a girl. I don't know. I say the same thing about myself. My dad, when I was born, my dad wanted a boy. He cried because he wanted a boy. Could that have been it?
I'll give you a boy,
You got your
all
girl
right.
boy. You got your girl boy.
You're winning.
Yeah.
But
Two for one.
but even like how you say your earliest memory is 8 or 9. What if from 0 to 7, he treated you just like a boy? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like subconsciously,
It could've
like
been
you
learned,
don't know. It could have been a
Yeah.
learned behavior, like to the point where it's like, okay, you really want this boy? I can throw a ball. I can play football.
So I believe sometimes some parents do kind of nurture whatever they see in their kid.
Yeah.
Whether it's them being gay, straight, or whatever it is. We still say, like with my kids, if they see something on TikTok or something like, Taylor to say, Mom, I just seen 2 girls kissing. I had to turn my head. I'm like, yeah, you turn your head. I don't need you seeing nothing like that. But it's like if I would have said, no, it's okay. They did. So if I end up opening up and saying certain type of dialogue with her to where she felt like it was okay, she'd be like, oh, it's okay. If I say certain things like, no, I don't want you watching that, I don't want you saying that, but I don't want you being mean to nobody or saying this, you should still show love. Yeah, so that it's all depends on how they're raised, how open the communication is, what type of relationship you have with them. So I think it all plays a part too, So Kendra, what you been up to lately as far as the new things you have rolling out?
Well, one of my ventures is to start a group home, a 6-bed group home for LGBT youth. It's called Embolden Youth Services.
Okay.
I'm actually going to name, that's the name of my nonprofit, but I'm actually going to name the houses Iris House. In Greek, Iris means rainbow.
Really?
So, and
that
Iris was
her
my
mother's
mom's
name.
thing.
Yeah.
That was my mom's
Mom's
name. So it all kind of worked out.
nice.
Yeah, but this is my business card.
This is nice. So you guys could find this on herwinedown.com. It's Embolden Youth Services. You guys could give so then she could put the event up. Also, before we close out, I hate that gay people think they can have a whole rainbow. Like, no, you
Yeah,
don't know.
the red, the blue, the green.
It don't belong to y'all.
What do
Like,
you like? What do you like?
all the colors greedy. Anyway, Kendra, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming in and sharing your story and everything. And that will be a wrap on Her Wine Down.